Y'all ever get in trouble as kids? Not only did she giggle, but she slid down to the seat. I'm thinking that there's still some things in her mind that she hadn't repented of. That's okay. Yeah, my daddy knew half the things I did. I probably would still get a spanking today. Isn't it fun when you're a kid and you do things out of ignorance and get away with it? The bad thing about it is Dale, my daddy, where'd Dale go? Oh yeah, he's counting money. Golly, I got to pick on the guy and he's not even here. My daddy used to catch me just like Dale did, you know. He'd been a little boy once. He knew how it went, you know. And so he would, you know, apply the paddle, you know. He'd do the old grab your ankles and look at the pink elephant. And one time I said, "What pink elephant?" After that first swat, I saw whatever he wanted me to. It didn't matter. Pink elephants, flying trampolines, I didn't care, you know. And so, I mean, I think that there are times when, you know, kid deserves to, you know, be spanked because you want to drive the point home. But I heard, as a new parent, I heard this deal one time that just blew my mind. He said, you know, if you're going to, you know, apply corporal punishment to the padded area of a child, that's why God has made that seat so cushiony. Okay? Don't hit him on the head. We're talking the bottom end, okay? Said if you're going to do that, then afterwards, you know, give your child a hug, let them know you love them. And I thought, that's pretty cool. I like that idea. You know, because children need to understand, and I think you would all agree with me, children need to understand that parents are in control, right? I mean, it's our house. Now don't giggle. You know, my wife has to deal every day with 27 little lovely children who seem to think that they run the house, and sometimes I think they do. And children need to understand that, you know, we're always subject to some authority, right? Even as an adult, I'm subject under certain authority. The police can pull me over if I break the law. You know, my wife will get on me if I do something wrong, you know. My daughter will beat me up if I embarrass her from the pulpit, and I have lots of stories, but no, I won't go there. That we're all under some sort of authority, and we need to learn that. But we also need to learn that authority is there for our good. And so that was this guy's concept. He's like, you know, there are times when if you have to spank your child, you're teaching them that you're the authority, but then you turn right around and you're letting that child know that you love them, that you didn't punish them out of hatred or, you know, contempt for them, that as a loving parent you feel the need to take care of them. And I thought that's pretty cool, because that is so like God. You know, that may not be like us as humans, but that is so like God. We often err in the world with respect to God, that we either lean toward the one side that God is a mean, vindictive, angry, you know, punishing God, or we float all the way over to the other side, and you decide whether it's left or right, that God is loving and compassionate and caring, and, you know, He just lets us do whatever we want. The reality is in the middle. The flip side of that coin is God is a judging God, and we've seen that here in Zephaniah already, right from the get-go, right? Remember last week? We saw God was warning them, get right or get left, turn or burn, choose your phrase, that, you know, judgment is coming. But then in verse 2, or chapter 2, He begins to reveal to them that He's also a God of love, a God of compassion for them, a God of caring. Two sides of the same coin. He doesn't compromise His stand for right and righteousness for the sake of love. And He doesn't compromise His love for us because of His need and His understanding of the benefit of righteousness. So here in chapter 2, he says to them, take a look if you would please, beginning in verse 1 of chapter 2. Gather yourselves together, yes, gather together, O nations without shame, before the decree takes effect. The day passes like the chaff, before the burning anger of the Lord comes upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger comes upon you. Seek the Lord, all you humble of the earth, who have carried out his ordinances. Seek righteousness, seek humility. Perhaps you will be hidden in the day of the Lord's anger. For Gaza will be abandoned, and Ashkelon a desolation. Ashdod will be driven out at noon, and Ekron will be uprooted. Woe to the inhabitants of the sea coast, the nation of the Cherethites. The word of the Lord is against you, O Canaan, land of the Philistines, and I will destroy you, so that there will be no inhabitant. So the sea coast will be pastures, with caves for shepherds and folds for flocks, and the coast will be for the remnant of the house of Judah. They will pasture on it. In the house of Ashkelon they will lie down at evening, for the Lord their God will care for them and restore their fortune. I love that reading. I love it for some reasons that maybe aren't quite apparent. Take a look at the first 3 verses. He says there, gather yourselves together, yes, gather, O nations, without shame. Before the decree takes effect, the day passes like chaff, before the burning anger of the Lord comes upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger comes upon you. Very repetitive, very poetic. That's why it's structured the way it is. You wonder, well, why doesn't it go to the end of a sentence? You know, kind of like ours does. Fills out the margins. This one kind of goes and stops, and then goes and stops, and goes and stops. A lot of prophetic writing is poetry, or it's prose formed as poetry. Why that is, I don't know. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, it's almost, and don't church me over this statement, but it's almost like rap. Okay? I mean, maybe it has something to do with the fact that a lot of Jewish worship is built around music. You know of the cantors in Jewish worship where they sing the Torah, the law. Maybe it has something to do with that, but a lot of prophetic writing, and whenever you see it structured this way, it's poetry. And it has this rhythm and this beat to it